Sometimes it seems as if there is no limit to the sheer variety of ways in which justice can miscarry. Slavery is one good example. Segregation is another. There is also apartheid, holocausts, forced displacement, internments, etc. Most blacks in the Western world today are descended from slavery. Most have ancestors taken from their homeland against their will and subjugated for the rest of their lives, along with several generations of their progeny. Now, I will be the first to admit that my knowledge here is limited, but I know this much for certain. At the time of their capture, these ancestors were not Christian. Christianity was brought to Africa by force. The vast majority of early black Christians were converted by some combination of coercion and social pressure. Most Christians today proclaim a very different interpretation of the Bible and the will of the God they worship, in an effort to distance themselves from this. But such acts do not rewrite history. The very religion that most black Christians today so gleefully, joyously, rapturously exalt is not that of their ancestors. It is the religion their ancestors were forcefully indoctrinated into by men bearing scripture in one hand and chains in the other. What are the beliefs they had originally? What became of them? So these questions I am directing mainly to black Christians in the Western world. Picture for a moment, if you will, your ancestors, bound, shackled into place on the ship, on their way to a glorious new life in the civilized world, whether they want it or not, clinging to the beliefs with which they were raised in a desperate search for comfort. How do you suppose they would react upon seeing you, their descendants, proclaiming the faith, reading and studying the scripture, and worshiping the God of their oppressor? It seems to me perfectly natural to conclude that they would be utterly despondent. What about the beliefs and practices they were forced to abandon? Perhaps I'm way out of line, but I have the audacity to suggest that they were no less valid. It also seems to me that surely any sense of cultural identity and pride would compel you to do what you can to at least learn what those beliefs and practices were. Such is, after all, your heritage.